So this interests you. What else interests you these days? I'm just interested in you. I mean, do you read certain kinds of material? You read certain. I mean,
yeah.
I read biographies. I consume biographies.
Do you really?
That's what I'm into.
I don't have as much time for reading as I used to. I'll every now and then find a book that I love, and I just read a book called The Art of Fielding, which was really good, which was a novel. So I mean, I don't know. I go in drips and drabs, but I've stopped actually watching reality TV. I will say I've actually now.
Any withdrawal symptoms?
Oh, no, it was hard at first. I've switched now to like hour dramas and
like which ones?
Like The Killing, Walking Dead.
Boardwalk Empire, you like that?
I like the Boardwalk Empire. Yeah, it was
Mad
a little
Men?
dull first season.
Mad
Mad Men. I love Mad Men. And Downton Abbey.
Oh, I hear that's great. I haven't seen
it's
that
really
yet.
good. Sherlock, another show on Masterpiece Theater. So I like sort of hour-long dramas. I'm sure it'll come around. I'll be sucked back into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Is this where you imagined your life at this point in your career?
I never really.
No
I
blueprint.
never had like a 5 or 10 year plan. I mean, I started literally. I couldn't get a job out of college as a reporter, so I made a fake press pass. I borrowed a friend of mine made a fake press pass for me. And I borrowed a camera. I started going to wars, and so for me, the interest wasn't being on TV. It was going to these places and seeing these things, and learning things about myself and about other people. And then the fact that I could tell stories enabled me to continue to do it. And it's. I have no actual skill, so there's nothing else I could do. But it is the greatest thing I can possibly imagine.
Yeah. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Yale.
You went to Yale. And you still in touch with people from college? That kind
Not
of
really. I mean, I'm kind of a recluse, so I wasn't in that touch with that. I was on a crew team. I'm in touch with some of the people from my team, but I'm not. I'm not very like social, so I'm sort of reclusive.
Is that still the case? You don't?
Yeah, it's always been the case. I used to, as a kid, I had sort of a stutter and a speech problem, and I was very, very shy, and so going to like a party is difficult for me.
Well, I understand that. I think a lot of people in media and that have to be in front of a lot of people, some of it's a compensation for shyness.
I think that's true. And also, there's a certain, when you're working,
you have a purpose.
Right, you have a purpose, and you're expending a lot of energy to project.
Yeah.
So when you're in your downtime, you just kind of want to collapse and be quiet, and I'm so sick of myself. The last thing I want to do is like hear myself talk.
Right, I totally get that.
Not that
I'm sick of you, but I get sick
honesty.
of my own yes too. So, when
did you go gray early?
I went gray when the first year of my triplets' life. I have triplets,
really?
And so and I was
they turned you gray.
They turned me gray.
Wow.
Raising triplets is really a difficult thing to do.
I can't even imagine.
And thank God I have a great wife, and our relationship weathered it. Many don't. And multiple marriages have a high probability of not making it. And we did, and we're great and love it. And
how old are
they're all in college now?
And they're in college now?
Yeah, one of them is at a Vanderbilt institution.
Is that right, really?
Yeah.
In Nashville? All right, I've never been there.
You've never been there?
No.
And the Vanderbilt is your family heritage, is that right?
It is, yeah, but honestly, it has no reality in my life. Like, my mom wasn't really close to that side of the family growing up. She'd been taken away from her mother in a horrible custody battle in the early 30s. So she really was kind of. And my dad's family grew up very poor in Mississippi, and I feel much more connected to like the Cooper side. I'm very glad that's my last name and not that other name. Because it doesn't come with the same kind of baggage and preconceived notions.
So, I didn't realize that the poor Mississippi family.
Yes, yeah. In fact, we have family reunions down in near Quitman, Mississippi, and near Meridian, and I still go down there. My grandmother owned a general store later on in her life in Meridian, Mississippi, and my dad was really one of the few who kind of got out and left, and I have an uncle in San Diego, but a lot of folks are still down in Mississippi or Georgia or in the South.
That's very interesting. Just as we sort of wrap up here, are there things that going forward, as we sort of look at the landscape of our country, are the things that really scare you? I mean, I obviously get very deep into the prescription med thing, and there's lots of things that scare me about what's going on.
I don't get scared all that easily, and I'm very optimistic. I mean, I think, as a country, we've had this extraordinary history. We're such a young country, and, we tack left and we tack right, and yet, the public adjusts, and we continue to move forward.
So you're an optimist.
Yeah, I am. I'm very optimistic. Even though, I've seen a lot of terrible things around the world, and I've seen, I think people are living longer than ever before. People are healthier than ever before. Right. And I think it's one of the least, I know a lot of politicians say it's the most dangerous time ever. I actually think it's one of the least dangerous times for people in this country.
So are they saying that just as rhetoric to
I think there's a lot of fear-mongering, and there's a reason some people want to gin up fear because it, keeps people afraid and it keeps people paying attention to what they're going to say.
Yeah, of course. Well, Anderson, I do appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
It really was fun.
All right,
and I hope we'll get you and Kathy together sometime, or at least I want Kathy in here so she can Well, first of all,
you're going to have to wipe down the desk.
that's what I said. Well, the chair.